So let's turn the topic a little bit about how you compose music, and you have done a lot of different kinds of music, and you get the commission, and you do opera, you do all sorts of things, and tell us how you do it.
Yeah, I mean it's a strange thing. I mean I don't know what kind of work you do, but it's a very strange thing that my kind of music in the music world, I write music which often, almost always, gets played in a classical music setup like orchestra, concerts, and string quartets, and classical music concert hall, classical music. And but then again, whoever commissions me, whoever requests me to write music, either that's a musician or orchestra or music festivals, opera houses, they pay me to write a piece, music, but I can do whatever I want to do. Meaning that in a contract there is a deadline, there are sizes of music. I mean, is it solo clarinet or full orchestra, string quartet, that's set. And then duration of the music, how long it is, but that's it. Nothing else. It says nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't have to write music they like. There's nothing. They pay for things. I could do anything. Of course, I don't write music. I specifically don't write music hoping that the person I write for, or person who give a premiere to dislike it, obviously. But one can just hope, and then it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Sometimes it does, and then that's just wonderful. But that's.
I see. You mentioned that you don't write music for a certain target and things like that. But I think the upcoming movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you wrote 4 pieces, right?
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of
Mitsubachi to Endai?
That's a very big bestseller. I really love the book.
Yeah.
And that's about the competition.
Piano competition.
Yeah, piano competition.
So, film opens 4th of October. So please go and see. Yeah. It's a very very great story and a great movie. But anyway, it's about the movie about piano competition. That's also a funny story actually. Yeah. It's a film company, Toho. Everybody knows, of course. Godzilla. Yeah. And so it's a super commercial, big giant company. I mean, that's great. And they are making it. And then because of the story is about piano competition, which is, I don't know any novel which is about piano competition. And then there's no contestant who are romantically in love, or they gonna do nasty things to the other contestant, that kind of. So there's none of that stuff, which is because those things don't happen much in the piano competition, and so realistic for musicians. I mean, we were just reading this just like any competition I know. Or I know these people. Or even though there's fictions. But anyway, the piano competition, any competition, usually have a composer has commission to write a new piece, which contestants must play. Because of let's imagine you are in competition, you're playing Bach, Beethoven, Mozart. You're playing maybe Bach since 20 years ago, and you're playing only Bach 5 years ago, and those. Issue. But that doesn't mean which was better, but that was different background. But again, it's new piece, it's new for everybody. So this is the kind of test for contestants. How are you going to do with a limited time to learn? Which is because the piece was not existed until that moment. So it's a very fair, let's say. So quite often it happens. So in this novel, there are imaginary composer who has written this imaginary contestant piece. And it's amazing thing about this novel, which is very thick, that 4 main contestants will play this imaginary piece, which has this another strange thing. This imaginary piece has a cadenza, which is usually often in classical music there's a cadenza. Even Beethoven has written cadenza, which is where the soloists, olden times soloists just made it up, like improvisation. It's a bit show-off part. Music just go fast, that's like a circus, originally. So, but usually these days, the cadenzas are fixed by the composer. But 200 years ago, it wasn't. But anyway, for this imaginary piece, solo piece, but somehow it has a cadenza. And it's a free improvisation, meaning for improvisation for the fictionally. And so 4 contestants, 4 different pianists, improvise in these cadenzas individually to tell us their background story. I thought that was a very interesting storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're talking about like one character, this is novel, so I'm not spoiling your movie, because it's a novel. For example, one character has a background like she lost her mother and so on. But those memory and songs are reflecting on her improvisation part of this piece. And then the other characters thinking about based on the wife singing some little tunes in the kitchen, and then he decided to develop the cadenza with that melody, that kind of thing. By the way, it's all fictional, right? So, anyway, so that was bestseller. It's well over a million selling novel apparently, and well over millions. Anyway, so that will be a movie, and then apparently the author was drinking in a bar somewhere. I don't know that person, obviously, author at the time. And then a friend of mine who just met her by accident in a bar. Well, they were both drinking in a bar, like separately. And then the bartender knew they're both interested in classical music, or one is in the industry, so they introduced each other. And I don't go to bars, so I don't know. So that kind of thing, wiping glasses, right? And then anyway, so then they started talking. And apparently this bestseller author just said, oh, this movie, which is very popular and famous, especially in Japan at the moment, at the time, it's going to be a movie. I mean, what are you going to do about this fictional? Because every other pieces of music in a novel, they exist, except this one, because it's an imaginary. So who's going to write this? How are you going to do? And apparently, she told me also afterwards when I met, she apparently said to friend of mine who said that, oh, can we get composers like Dai Fujikura to write this? That'd be great. And then a friend of mine said, but he's my friend. I could ask him. So really? And that kind of thing. And she texted me. I was in London at the time, early in the morning, and then I got this text, and yeah. Wow. And then a little later, Toho asked me to be involved in this project, but in this case, in this scenario, I think she's like a J.K. Rowling of the Harry Potter project. She's the core, she's the best-selling author, and you're going to make a movie because of that, not because of any other factor. So obviously, her say, I would imagine, it's a big. And again, this thick book has so many pages. She spent so many pages describing every single bits of this imaginary music. Individual cadenzas, it's incredible how detailed it is. Anyway, so that, and then who's going to write that song? They asked me to write the piece. So, back to this similar topic, that I know the movie business. I've been hired by film company, even very famous ones, before, but I always get like fired in the middle all the way, because I never follow their way to do it. It's fine, you know. So it's no surprise, but this was, again, with the film, okay, I love film, I'm a film buff, but, well, we'll see how it goes, I mean, with my track records. And then we had a meeting with Toho team, and then director, very serious. And this, because of this movie is about music. It's about music. It's not, music is a part of it. It's not just music in a sense. And so they're super serious about this. And they asked me. I mean, we were talking quite a lot. They were saying like, can we give you a script, because script is being written now. When I finish it, I'll give you. Can you get inspired by the script and to write this piece and so on. But I also had to protect myself at the time. So I had to tell them, I'm sorry, but no, because we're all here, because it's on Skype. Even Skype, I can feel the pressure. The executives who are not in a frame, I can feel that already. But I said that no, because we're all here because of this novel. So let's lets everybody, including myself, to get ideas inspired only from the book. Not the script which is made from the book, and then I get inspired from the script which is made from the book. So it's like a Chinese whisper. Let's not do that. This is the Bible. We are all going to be inspired by this. So I'm going to write music. I have to produce myself. I'll finish this imaginary piece for this movie before script is finished. So I'm not going to write, I didn't read the script, I still haven't read the script. I'm going to write music following exact the author has described this piece in my way, but pretty much. And then you do your thing as a scriptwriter, and then we meet hopefully at the goal. So somehow they really, I thought they were going to say that's not how movie business works, and we're a big company. I thought they were going to say it, but they said, let's do that. So I was, again, even in the movie business, I was not asked to do anything.
Oh, I see.
Nothing. It was, but also, at the same time, because I'm such a person, maybe I'm a very good risk analyst, you know. Because I always think of the worst. And I thought, at the time I didn't know this best-selling author, who I would imagine who had a big say in this whole project. And there's so many times that a famous author spoke about the movie version of their work, even though the movie version is super famous. The author said, that is not my story. Often you say that. That is not my work in public. That's not my work. Take off my name from that, you know, even though it's very famous, that kind of thing. So I imagined author would say, after hearing my piece, I wrote this imaginary piece, she would say, that's not the piece I imagined in my head. I thought she would say. So it's like being lawyer, you know. I decided to take all the pages from the novel, which I read it in Kindle. So the description about those pieces and 4 cadenzas, because 4 people improvise in a story in 4 different ways. So this description is written 4 different ways, but pages. Pages for pages, you know. So I took photos of all those pages on the Kindle, and I printed out. I don't know why. I always read book in Kindle in the bath. So I was reading it with a waterproof Kindle with not waterproof phone. So it was very risky. But I did my best. And then after I came out of the bath, and I printed out all the pages, and I put everything, all the pages, like 30 pages, 40 pages. It's a bit like doing a study for exam. You know, take out all the important bits, which I'm quite good at, I must say. So I put all that pages on the wall, like a serial killer. You know, in the movie, the serial killer, they have this all the profiling stuff. You know? It's really spooky, like this. Anyway, I put that, and then I decided I'm gonna do everything to fit these descriptions. These descriptions. For example, like there's a low note. She would say, like the piece would end with the lowest note of the low note of the piano, as if the next piece was a Rachmaninoff the pianist played, and then I could not tell. No one could tell there's a gap between end of this imaginary piece and then the beginning of this specific Rachmaninoff piano sonata or something. So I looked at the first page of Rachmaninoff piano sonata and then ended the piece with the same note as the beginning note of the Rachmaninoff, or things like that. I mean, but I mean, so therefore, if I were accused by this author, by the way, she's lovely, lovely author. But at the time, I didn't know her, so in my imagination, she's this kind of difficult author, which proved to be not true, but in my imagination at the time. So she would tell me that is not my, that's not the piece I imagine. Nothing like it. I would say, I'm sorry, but I followed everything. He said, low note, that is a low note. There's a high tremolo, there's high tremolo. And there's a big chorus of Mother of the Land, all that kind of thing. But that is a big chord, and that is Mother of the Land for me. But it's there. So I thought I could protect myself that she would not tell me I didn't follow. She can't tell me I didn't follow because I did. Really every single sentences and words to words and everything. And even I made this one character whose wife is singing, humming by the kitchen. I even wrote that. And then wrote the whole cadence, and I even gave that humming part to director if you want to use it. I mean, well, I don't know if you want to ignore it or you want to use it. Well, it's in the movie too, so all that is there, and yeah, so I did that. So that was quite interesting for me, and yeah, and then Toho and then film director were really serious, and they respected this piece so well. On every single thing they asked me, is it okay if we can do this? Can we do this? But I know from movie composer friends, I mean, they just do whatever they want to do. Film music, they cut and play places everywhere, usually for the film music. But with me, they were absolutely they were really careful. When I'm also a team player. I just said, look, you didn't really control me what to do. And then I did my best, and you have a great, I mean, really respectful way to treat my piece, and then now please do whatever you need to do to make the great movie. So it's a very good relationship. I mean, now it's very, very nice. And this imagining piece can be heard on 28th of September in my festival, Born Creative Festival, a little bit before movie opens.